eyes, not ears. Privet and Righteous gave Wily matching bronze-plated thumbs-ups. Fast is not a problem for me, Odette said with a grin. The question is whether I'm going to do backflips as I sprint. Rovika cocked her hand and, with a flick of her lumpy wrist, flung the mushroom through the air. It hit the stone ground just below the archway and exploded into a cloud of thick black smoke. Now! Wily urged the others. Odette shot forward in a dazzling sequence of leaps and tumbles, quickly disappearing into the smoke ahead. Moshel grabbed Rovika by the back of her shirt and tucked her under his arm as he took heavy, lumbering steps toward the archway. With Righteous floating by his side, Privet charged ahead, his bronze armor squeaking, clearly in need of a greasing. Wily raced after his companions, into the cloud of black. He could hear his companions moving on either side of him, but the smoke was so thick that he couldn't even see his own fingers. Worse still, with each breath his nostrils were invaded by the pungent odor of rotting carrots. The purple mushroom had created an excellent smoke screen, but its smell left much to be desired. After 36 steps, Wily emerged from the smoke. With a loud gasp, he sucked in a lungful of cave air. His vision cleared and he saw Odette already standing there, twiddling her fingers as if she had been waiting hours for his arrival. Privet, Moshel, and Rovika stepped out of the haze just as it began to dissipate. "Did the eyes spot us?" Privet asked. "Or did we get by unnoticed?" "There's no way to tell out here," Wily answered. "The alarm doesn't sound in the main tunnels of the dungeon, only in the hidden maintenance tunnels. We'll just have to go deeper to find out." The group continued down the long corridor to a room whose walls and ceiling were covered in snaking roots and dangling vines. In the middle of the room, a stout man with a tool belt stood on a ladder. He was busy sharpening a row of swinging blades and seemed completely unaware of their presence. Wily knew at once that this man had to be the maze's trapsmith. Just a few months ago, before he learned that he was in fact the Prince of Panthasos, Wily had been just like him, stuck doing the mundane tasks that kept the dungeon operating smoothly. He had spent years sweeping Carrion Tomb's crypts, sharpening the spikes, feeding the rats, and greasing the gears of the crushing walls. As the stout man performed his monotonous task, he sang an off-key tune. "Got to keep the blades swinging, swinging, swinging overhead. Got to keep the snakes biting, biting, make sure they're well fed. Got to keep the slime dripping, dripping, then I'll go to bed." Wily hadn't sung while he performed his duties, but now, thinking back, perhaps it would have made the endless stretches of dullness pass more quickly. Of course, there was a lot Wily didn't know back then. He had been convinced by Stalag, the master of Carrion Tomb, and his surrogate father, that he was a hobgoblet rather than the human he actually was. And he had believed Stalag's other lies as well, that the sun would melt the skin clean off his bones the moment he left Carrion Tomb, and, worst of all, that his parents had been killed, when in fact they were very much alive. His mother was the famous freedom fighter known as the Scarf, and his father was the recently dethroned Infernal King. There were still mornings when Wily woke from slumber and didn't think any of it was true. Just a wild, dizzying dream. Wily spied the exit on the other side of the room. He signaled his friends to move for it. The trapsmith did not seem to have the slightest clue that Wily and his fellow adventurers were silently sneaking through the shadows along the perimeter of the room. As Wily and the others tiptoed out of the room of dangling roots, he heard the trapsmith begin a new song. "My sister kissed a troll down by the river. She thought that kiss would break a cursed spell, but that troll was just a troll down by the river. Still she married him, and now they're doing well." The group moved down a short hall and stopped before the entrance of a cavernous room strewn with skulls and bones. Peering inside, Wily could see a giant fanged bear sleeping soundly on the floor. A spine of sharp needles grew all the way down its back. "A quill grizzler," Privet said with a tremble of fear. Although Wily had never seen one in the flesh before, he had heard stories of this fearsome creature. It was rumored to be capable of tearing a dragon in two with a single twist of its mighty fists. But, at this moment, it was extremely difficult to imagine this particular quill grizzler.